Hello, Flat Earth believers. This is Darrell E. Berry Jr. back with my third Flat Earth Challenge. My second Flat Earth Challenge addressed the ability or lack thereof of Flat Earth believers and proponents to make astronomical predictions using only their model. A link is in the description of this video. This third Flat Earth Challenge has to do with buoyancy. A common Flat Earth claim that I have observed is that gravity doesn't exist, and that buoyancy is the explanation for why things rise or float or sink in air and liquid, and that gravity doesn't play a part in this. Here is an example from a poster named Phuket Word. The text in the clip speaks for itself. It says that an object with lower density than the surrounding liquid or gas will float, and an object with a higher density than the surrounding liquid or gas will sink, and that this is not affected by, quote, Newton's gravity. This example is posted by prominent Flat Earth proponent D. Marble and is a clip from a video made by another prominent Flat Earth proponent named Odd Reality.
Gravity is a scapegoat for all that cannot be explained, and it has never been proven. The reason why things fall or float is because of density and buoyancy. If something is heavier than air, it falls. If it's lighter than air, it floats. Very straightforward. Your phone is denser than the air, therefore it falls when you drop it. Everything works because of density. No need to factor in imaginary components. Quote, "The law of gravitation is said by the advocates of the Newtonian system of astronomy to be the greatest discovery of science and the foundation of the whole of modern astronomy. If, therefore, it can be shown that gravitation is a pure assumption and an imagination of the mind only, that it has no existence outside of the brains of its expounders and advocates, the whole of the hypotheses of this modern so-called science fall to the ground as flat as the surface of the ocean, and this most exact of all sciences, this wonderful feat of the intellect, becomes at once the most ridiculous superstition and the most gigantic imposture to which ignorance and credulity could ever be exposed." Thomas Winship, Zetetic Cosmogony.
The universal consensus I have found among Flat Earth believers is that the density of an object causes it to be more or less buoyant, and gravity plays no part in this at all. Again, according to you, gravity doesn't exist at all. Okay, but what I have never heard explained by Flat Earth believers, given that what they're saying is true, is what causes buoyancy. What exactly is buoyancy, and why does it work the way that it does? Yes, it's clear that a less dense object rises or floats, and a denser object sinks. That's just observation. What I'm asking you is, what force or property makes denser objects not instead go up? What exactly is it that causes this force or property that makes denser objects sink and less dense objects float? The universal, quote, globehead consensus on buoyancy is that buoyancy requires gravity. We have found that gravity is the force or property that causes buoyancy and causes buoyancy to behave as it does. Gravity is included in our calculations for buoyancy, and this formula consistently works to calculate and predict an object's buoyancy. My understanding thus far is that the buoyant force upon an object on a liquid will be equal to the force of gravity that is acting upon the amount of that liquid that the submerged part of that object displaces. But clearly you are saying this must be invariably false, since our understanding of buoyancy invariably takes into account gravity, and according to you, gravity doesn't exist at all. At the start of Phuket Word's video, he showed a marina with boats floating on water. These boats are made to precise specifications, demonstrated by the fact that several of each type of boat are usually made. These ships are usually not one-offs, and they float, designed using the, quote, globehead understanding of buoyancy, which considers gravity. So, I challenge you to keep this secret no longer, and tell us what really causes buoyancy. I assume you must know what causes buoyancy to occur, as it does, since you demonstrably know that buoyancy exists, and you apparently know that gravity doesn't cause it. So what exactly causes buoyancy to work as it does? Also, please produce a formula that can calculate and predict an object's buoyancy more accurately than we do with formulas that consider gravity. This would clearly need to be a formula which more accurately predicts and calculates buoyancy, since it would purportedly be based upon a more accurate understanding of the world. such that one can make a boat using only your understanding of buoyancy and it floats, and more accurately calculate the exact buoyancy force keeping it afloat. On another note, I noticed that Phuket Word in his video issues a challenge to quote globeheads. It seems only fair that I respond to Flat Earth believers' challenges as well. I have made a video in response to his challenge. The link is in the video description.